Hello everybody, welcome back to Lozy PC and welcome back to War in Pacific PBEM, I'll get there eventually, with Invictus. And yeah, let's jump straight into it. So we're on to turn 11, the 17th of December 1941, into the 18th as well. And we will see how things are going. It was a bit of a short turn last time, and it's not going to be super long this time. So we see some submarines off the Caroline Islands near Truk. The USS Seawolf attacking one of our cargo ships. And nothing too dangerous, nothing happening, all good so far. But as usual, our submarines trying to attack the American destroyers around Pearl Harbor. Although by the looks of that, it was less of an attack, more that they had been spotted. So far, so good. We do see that there is still a submarine off Shikaku. And here we see, this time, not the Sea Wolf, but the Sea Lion taking pop shots and shooting with torpedoes at our cargo ship and doing some significant damage. Now, I am under the impression that these two ships, the Sea Wolf and the Sea Lion, were ships that were in and around Shanghai. So these could be moving back and returning to wherever he is planning to kind of launch his submarines from. But at the same time, we'll just kind of keep an eye on and consider the fact that there is, submarines in the area around the Caroline Islands, and in particular around Truk, which is kind of significant because Truk is one of our major naval bases and air bases in the area. So, we need to keep an eye on that. With the rest of the night, nothing too much happening. We move straight into day. Task forces unloading and loading and minesweeping and blah blah blah. And again, we see submarines off of Saigon, patrol boats trying to spot them. Again, nothing too exciting happening there. Just the kind of usual stuff that we see throughout the day. Now, something that we do see this turn is we do see a lot more spotting and attempts by ships to attack US submarines. It says there that a Dave attacked a US submarine, which is good. It might not do loads of damage, it might not sink these submarines, but if they do get a good attack off, you might see a few more system damage, maybe a float damage or two. And if they start racking up turn after turn after turn, then that is going to force Invictus to pull his submarines back. It's going to force them into port. They need to get repaired, and it's going to keep them out of the way for a while. So this is what we want to be making sure we're doing in regards to using our air power to kind of harass and annoy these submarines, is the best way to say it. Airstrikes kind of throughout Malaya, China, and Burma. Nothing too exciting. But then we get this. Some Dutch bombers attacking the Ryū task force. Now, a couple of Claudes, which are based on the Ryū, tries to defend. They don't really do much damage. And I was a little bit nervous here, seeing some bombing runs on the Ryū, but all is good. We're all safe. Another thing is, as well, another offensive attack, this time from B-17s over Saigon. Now, we do have some Zeros that are trying their best to do some damage, and they do damage these B-17s, but they don't shoot any down, which is rather frustrating. B-17s are definitely something we would like to shoot down, but these are the B-17s that were based in the Philippines, and knowing from my time playing with OCB, these are very, very frustrating and rather irritating. No damage from them so far, which is good, but obviously we need to be careful. Now, something exciting, the Ryū does strike back at the Dutch and sinks the Tan 1, a small oiler which carries about 4,000 tons of fuel. Nothing amazing, but it is an oiler, and it's a kind of oiler that can be used to support battleships. I wouldn't necessarily get it to support carriers, but it is a useful ship to have around. So us sinking that, really, really good. Here we see the B-17s trying to attack slightly further in Indochina, being met this time with some Oscars. Again, nothing too much happening. The B-17's trying to bomb the airfield, but again, doing no damage, which is all good. But the key word I think we need to attach to this is no damage yet. Just to make sure that, you know, we don't get too cocky and too overconfident. Because, you know, they're a little bit spooky, the old B-17s. So let's make sure we don't get cocky and don't end up, you know, underestimating them and getting significant damage from them. Some more raids in Malaya from ANs and dive bombers. Not doing super great, but still kind of racking up casualties and still harassing, which is always the main thing. And the thing we kind of want to make sure we're doing. Some Kates coming back in for some more attacks. We have a dud torpedo, which is rather annoying. Only on a small patrol craft, so nothing too significant. Bit of a waste of a torpedo, really, but hey ho, one of those things. Practice, you know, it's all good practice. And we like giving our pilots all good, real life practice. More submarines being spotted, being failed to be found, and being failed to be attacked, which is frustrating. And here we see something that really, really made me nervous. The Ryu was spotted and attacked by a Dutch sub. Now, as mentioned last time, Dutch subs are exceptionally good and generally really effective. We got away with it here, the sub missed. If we'd have lost our carrier or taken significant damage, that would have been a massive, massive boost for Invictus this early on. Meanwhile, the landings at Davao are kind of taking place. We have a heavy cruiser and some destroyers trying to bombard and soften Davao up for our troops that will be landing, and then we will go get some more and reinforce and try and take the southern island of the Philippines. Meanwhile, we move on to our ground attack. So we have some fighting going on in Nanchang, as per usual, and some more bombardment in Hong Kong. Tomorrow we start the offensive. 50 allied casualties, or 47 to be precise, but tomorrow we're going to start the ground assault properly. This is just kind of dealing with some leftover Royal Naval troops, and up here we have a Chinese corps that we realised was by itself. So we're going to try and attack it, and we do some good casualties, and here come the Allies bombarding us back. Luckily, no damage. We must have, you know, gone into some bunkers and some cover, and yeah, the Chinese didn't do too much damage. It's also the fact that the Chinese actually, their units don't have a lot of artillery. Most of the Chinese corps are just carrying 81mm mortars, which, of course, can do damage. I'm, again, not underestimating these units. But they don't have significant amounts of, you know, fire support and, you know, artillery as such. They do have units that will give them that artillery, 105, 150mm artillery units, and there is some corps that do have units in them as well that have artillery. So, you know, we just got to kind of keep an eye on it. But so far, so good. So we're just kind of looking around. We just checked the ships that had been attacked by the two submarines. They're on their way back to Japan on a cargo run. And then I'm just looking here. These are the ships that are supposedly picking up the unit from from making, and I'm trying to move them. Now, I tried to move them using transport, and it doesn't seem to be working. I think what I should have done is maybe tried amphibious to see if that would have worked, but yeah, we can't put them in strat moves, so I'm a bit confused. I need to have a think and work out why that is. If anybody knows, please do drop it in the comments to help me out. It might be a day or two until I actually, you know, see the comments and make the adjustment, but please do let me know. Meanwhile, we're going to go pick up the troops from Tarawa. I'm kind of clicking around, not knowing what exactly I'm doing here, being a bit of an idiot, but then I realised, oh yeah, I just want to transfer all these back over to this group. But yes, we're going to move the units from Tarawa and get them ready for their landing of Rabaul. That is the plan with these ones. So they're going to move there. The invasion forces kind of elsewhere are all off, as you can see down there. We're having a look at Davao and also the Ryu. And I'm kind of like, I'm going to move its patrol zone slightly somewhere different just to try and, you know, keep it out of the way of the submarines. Now we're going to set our Kates to ground attack, and we're going to give them the target of Davao. So again, they can try to support our landings there and give us whatever we need to attack and keep up the fight against the enemy. Fingers crossed, all will be good. But of course, we just have to wait and see. We set our units to bombardment just to, again, give us a bit of scouting, just to kind of make sure that we're not doing anything too daft. We're having a look here at Miri, making sure stuff is being built. We realise nothing is being built, so what do I want to do? And I'm thinking, do I want to do the airfield? Do I want to do the port? Do I want to do the airfield? Do I want to do the port? And I decide, okay, we're going to do the port. And it's got a bit of an airfield there, so if we want fighters, we can. But if we need more, then we need the port more significantly. Miri has got obviously oil and a refinery, so we can make fuel. And getting that port established as quickly as possible will allow us to start moving that again as quickly as possible. Scouting around, seeing what ships we have available. We're going to do some moving of aircraft. One set of aircraft in particular is the Ki-44. These are generally kind of used as interceptors, and I want to start moving these down to Saigon. If we're being attacked by B-17s, I want to try and counter them as best we can. Although they can't quite reach Saigon. Saigon is too far away. They can't even reach Vietnam itself. So we're going to transfer these guys not to Australia. The game decided to jump all the way down to Australia. We're going to transfer them to Samar and then move them from there and then see how things go. So we will look what else we have over here as well, and we kind of see we have a few ships kind of hanging around, and it's always kind of one of the things with Japan, particularly early on, is you have so much that's kind of happening because of the computer, moving stuff around, and then you're kind of wondering, right, what have I got to move? What can I move? What can I send here? What ships have I got? And it can be a bit kind of confusing and a bit kind of, of a nightmare. One thing I should do more often than I do is take notes. I very much am a bit lackluster on that end. This is a type of game that would benefit from notes, but maybe that's something we can improve. One thing we are going to do here is we're going to send one of our patrol boats back, just to give them a captain with a little bit more aggression. It's something that we've kind of wanted to sort, and would be useful to kind of get on top of, because we've mentioned the last couple of times that we've had captains that are not not aggressive enough. They're not trying to chase up on submarines, and I think they're getting a little bit away with stuff. We're going to move a destroyer down to Saigon because we can see there's loads of submarines just outside Kota Bharu. Makes sense. I kind of know why Invictus is doing that. Kota Bharu is kind of our main port at the moment, so if we want to move any infantry, any troops, it needs to go through there. So we're going to get some aggressive captains to try and counter that, try and force him to move his subs or sink his subs to clear that way out. Now, what we just did up there in northern China is we're beginning our attacks to cross the river to move to Chengchao and other places. Elsewhere, we're looking at what units we can move. We've got the 116th Division here. We're thinking of where we can move that. And kind of the big area and the big kind of fights we want to get sorted is Nanchang. Now, if we capture Chengchao and keep Xinjiang safe, etc., we can move troops all the way from Shanghai, apart from when we clear those little units around the railways, all the way into Hankow in a couple of days by train. We don't have to worry about trying to send them to one base, then march them, and just taking days and days and days and days to try and move anybody about. So by capturing those areas, we will be able to kind of keep pushing forward and, fingers crossed, be able to defeat the Chinese as quickly as possible. Now, I'm messing about here. I'm trying to put something into reserve so we don't move it into strat move, so we don't move it forward. But again, I think because the enemy is nearby, it won't let us move it into strat move. So what we're going to do is we're going to get everything to move south. The northern Philippines is pretty much under our control now, which is doing pretty good. The use of the paratroopers has kind of helped stuff out, and we're going to set everybody to plan for Manila as well. That is our target, is Manila. It's going to take us a few days to get guys ready for it, but we will start moving them down and we'll see how things go. The more bases we can take in the Philippines and the quicker, the better. I want to put Invictus under pressure. Now, I am curious what he's going to do. Is he going to abandon Manila and kind of hold up and fortify Bataan? If he does that, obviously it's still going to be difficult to deal with him because Manila is protected by Bataan. I can't really send any ships there. Bataan has a very, very good fort with some big guns. So again, ships are going to struggle to get through. So there is plenty of stuff he could do there. Or he could try and kind of hold Manila. The only problem with holding Manila is it gives you less troops in Bataan. So it's 6 and 2 3s really, depending on what you want to do there. So I'm just having a look at a couple of planes here. We've got a couple of Dinas that have no aircraft and have no pilots, which is a little bit worrying. And I'm just kind of having a look. I'm like, okay, can we produce Dinas? Yeah, we should be producing them. Okay, that's a bit strange. Why have we not got any? Let's just have a quick look at the industry. So we dive into the industry, we go to air, and scroll. Oh, okay, I-46 2 Dinas. We are producing 11 a month. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, fine. 11 a month is not, one a day, but it's still fairly regular. I'm not going to move anymore. And then I realize, there's a Dina here. And this is the one that should be with the rest. This was a damaged Dina that hadn't moved, and we've also got some Mavises here that should also be at Kota Baru. So we go back, and I'm just going to check on the Mavises, make sure they are doing plenty of anti-submarine patrols due to the fact that we've got loads of submarines outside Kota Baru. Yep, they seem to be fine. Checking all the other data, all seems to be good. So we will come out of that, and I'm just kind of looking at where they're targeting, and I'm thinking, should be fine. Quick check down in Hawaii and Pearl Harbor just to see if we've noticed any enemy ships. Kind of learning from our mistake the last time where we didn't check to see if there was a carrier or something like that moving, despite what we heard over the radio. That doesn't always mean that there is one, but yeah, just kind of keeping a check. And yeah, that is pretty much us for today. So thank you very much, and I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day. See you soon. Bye.